He was born not into peace but into the quiet storm of destiny, a child named Marcus Aurelius, whose eyes, even in infancy, seemed to look beyond the walls of Rome, beyond the gold and marble of emperors, into something unseen and eternal. From the beginning, his life was a paradox, surrounded by wealth yet destined for burden, born to privilege yet called to pain. He grew up under the shadow of greatness, trained not merely in power but in restraint, not in conquest but in character. While others dreamed of crowns, he dreamt of meaning. And so, when the weight of the empire finally fell upon his shoulders, it was not triumph he felt, but the heavy silence of responsibility, a silence that would echo through every night of his reign. He led armies into lands soaked in blood and watched the cost of human ambition carve itself into the faces of dying men. Yet within him burned a quiet fire, not of rage, but of reflection. He would return from war and sit beneath the dim glow of a Roman lamp, writing to himself words no emperor had ever dared whisper. That greatness is not in ruling others, but in ruling oneself. That true power lies not in the sword, but in the stillness of the soul. And while the world saw him as a god, he saw himself as dust, a fleeting breath upon the wind of eternity. He watched friends betray, loved ones fade, and the empire crumble under the weight of its own desire. Yet through it all, he sought no glory, no applause, only understanding. To him, life was a theater of shadows, and he its most reluctant actor. Each dawn he rose not to command, but to endure, to meet the day with calm, no matter how cruel its face. When plague swept Rome and death walked openly in the streets, he did not flee the stench of sorrow. He breathed it in and wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" He ruled from tents soaked in rain, from palaces haunted by grief, and from a heart constantly at war with itself. He was surrounded by armies, yet utterly alone, a philosopher trapped in an emperor's skin, and in that loneliness, Marcus Aurelius began to understand the cruel mercy of the universe. That wisdom is born not from comfort, but from suffering, not from applause, but from silence. He began to see that the world does not belong to those who possess it, but to those who endure it with grace. Every loss became his teacher, every betrayal a mirror reflecting the fragility of the human heart. He learned that to be emperor was not to command men, but to command one's own impulses, to rise each morning with the same question burning like a star in his chest. What is the right thing to do today? The wars outside his camp were nothing compared to the wars within his mind. Wars between duty and despair, mercy and anger, acceptance and agony. There were nights when the tents shook with thunder and men whispered prayers to forgotten gods, but he sat quietly,